Picture, Yang Zhui Feng. In a restaurant enjoying a lovely lunch by himself, a commotion at a nearby table piques his interest. A patron is receiving a beating because he finished his meal without funds to cover his tab. Yang stops the thrashing by promising to cover the stranger's bill. The stranger, Feng Jiaji, sacrificed himself for his best friends, Zheng Chao and He Fei. This is a habit. More of a scam they run. They scope out restaurants, find ones with weak busboys and servers, then fill their bellies with food with no intention of footing the bill. Your plain dine and dash with a twist, where one of them stays behind and takes a beating. Once it was settled, Yang returns to his meal. When he finishes, he slowly assumes the same position that Feng took earlier. He too has no money. Unlike Feng, Yang defends himself when workers bring out weapons. On the other side of town, the opulent, more affluent part of town, Yuan Yingfei paces in his lavish estate, while he laments at the sorry state of kung fu to his guards. He pines for the old days, when his father claimed his fame and glory by wielding a golden weapon. Ever since guns, cannons and trains became prevalent in the region, the security industry died faster than the dot-com bubble. Yuan believes the glory days of kung fu are dead and no one cares but him. Yuan's lackey, Li Lian, attempts to lift Yuan Yingfei's spirits with two gifts. First, flattery, by praising him for his business acumen, and secondly, a group of down-and-out ex-security men in need of work. Li Lian informs Yuan that they are from good families and have strong kung fu. The trust fund baby is excited to meet fellow kung fu practitioners. His idea of discussing kung fu turns out to be a death match. Yuan has so much confidence in his kung fu that he announces his moves before executing them and still wins. No question about it. Yuan's kung fu is strong and he is ruthless. Guan Yun's business has the most coveted location in town. He constantly declines offers to buy his family business. Many of Yuan's business partners fail to convince Guan to sell. Yuan decides to visit Yun to see what makes Guan Yun special. Yun asserts that his family business is not for sale. Being used to getting his way, Yingfei dismisses Guan's stance. Everything is for sale. Name your price. Yun laughs at the rich boy's hubris. He indulges Yingfei and proposes a barter instead of a money transaction. He will relinquish his ownership claim to the business for Yingfei's head on a platter. Of course, Yun's proposal infuriates Yingfei, just as they are about to exchange blows. Yun's sister, Guan San, calls on him. She was sent by their mother. At the sight of San, Yuan is mesmerized. Who is this angelic creature? Guan Yun clarifies with a stern warning that he will never sell, but Yingfei ignores him. With a euphoric smile on his face, he is transfixed on San. He is planning. I bet he has a new scheme to get everything he covets. One of the many restaurant managers reports to Yuan. Yuan had asked all his business partners to be on the lookout for young, poor men who were kung fu practitioners. At the restaurant, he asked the owners to stop beating non-paying customers and instead have them do a test of skill. If they pass, the food is free. In the pawn shop, anyone bringing weapons will get whatever they ask and be tracked. The manager reports two promising prospects. The first is He Fei, who took some convincing but passed the test that involved taking a leap from the second-floor balcony to land on a series of poles in the restaurant's courtyard. The second is Yang Zhui Feng. The manager made the test more challenging by adding a trapdoor, but it did not matter. Yang handled the trap gracefully, taking advantage of his staff. Li Lian pesters his boss, begging for the green light to get rid of Guan so they can have a total monopoly of the security business in town. It seems security is still lucrative enough to be of interest to Yuan. Yuan advises against it, as any direct move against Guan's establishment would reflect poorly on him. He does not want even the slightest hint of being seen in an unfavorable light by Guan Yun's sister San. Yuan has a better plan involving the new kung fu experts in town. In need of money, He Fei goes to pawn his swords. At the pawn shop, he bullies his way into getting 200 taels, 20 times the shop attendant's initial estimate. Little does He Fei know that Yuan's men have orders to keep a watchful eye on him and his friends. Whenever 3 or more are gathered, in the name of kung fu, the wealthiest man in town will know about it. Yuan Yingfei, Li Lian, and his detail of bodyguards stroll into the temple. Hefei and his friends are settling a matter with Yang Feng. This is a build-up from several encounters. The first was when Yang saved Feng from a punishing beating at the restaurant. The other two were in the streets. The second time, Yang called them freeloaders. The third time, Yang refused to accept Hefei's generous offer of a few coins after he had pawned his heirloom sword. Yang's rejection was served with insults about Hefei's kung fu skills. Yingfei pleads with them not to fight as they are kindred spirits. Yuan invites all four to stay at his home as he wants to talk shop with them. The four vagabonds do not believe Yuan knows kung fu, let alone on their level. Yuan introduces himself, but the four have heard of him. Given how he flaunts his inherited wealth, it is easy to gain celebrity status. Yang finds the whole ordeal off-putting, so he opts out. A free meal from a restaurant is one thing, but dining at your house is a line too far for me. Maybe these freeloaders are comfortable with that kind of arrangement. Lilian steps in and hypes up Yuan, reminding the fighters of the legend of Yuan's father. The history lesson did not persuade Yang. Yuan decides to present his golden sword. Still on the fence, Yang tests Yuan Yingfei, a simple test to evade 3 moves. Of course, Yuan passes with flying colours. Yang Feng is a man of his word and accepts the invitation. Li Lian shows Yuan's new guest to their quarters. These 4 unemployed, unhoused kung fu practitioners are about to taste the life of the 1%. Exquisite cigars, a luxurious bath, new fancy clothes, multiple course meals, and oddly a cutlery collection made from pure gold. Yuan sweetens the pot further by returning Hefei's swords. Hefei is sold and offers to do anything Yuan Yingfei asks. As a master manipulator, Yuan remarks that he wants to be surrounded by friends who love kung fu as much as he does. A few days pass, and Li Lian does not favour Yuan's arrangement with his new friends. Like any hater, he complains about it. All they do is eat your food, practice kung fu, and make a mess of things. A relaxed Yuan alleviates Li Lian's concerns by letting him in on his plans. He instructs Li to broach the subject of Guan. Yuan advises him to be delicate about it. Yuan wants his new guest to come up with the idea of getting rid of Guan alone. Yuan offers to help Li Lian sell his plea with a black eye. Li Lian makes his way to the guest quarters, where he tells a sob story of Guan giving him the black eye and disrespecting Yuan, and Yuan being too noble and too kind-hearted to retaliate. Feng Jiaji, Yang Jue, Hefei, and Zheng Chao fall for Li's narrative and head to town to see the man responsible for bringing stress to Yuan's life. Guan is on a rampage when the 4 friends arrive. Zheng attempts to calm him down but ends up in a fight. Hefei's and Jiaji's instinct is to jump in and teach Guan a lesson, but Yang reminds them that the confrontations must be fair. They stand back and watch. Guan stops to mock Zheng, saying that he is not on his level. Before Zheng can offer evidence on the contrary, Guan's sister pulls up and spots her brother fighting. Guan stops and begs his sister not to tell their mother. Hefei and the others pity Guan as Yang fills them in that Guan lives with his sister and mother. Yang had met Guan before and was aware of his temper. After getting rid of San, Feng proposes to Guan, "If you can knock me out in 3 moves, we will consider the matter settled." Guan's first blow lands, and Feng is taken back. Hefei questions why Guan is going all out. Guan reminds them he is alone and must take extreme measures to protect his family. Yang reminds Guan that they could have ganged up on him at any time but chose not to. This gives Guan pause. Feng steps up and signals for them to continue. Guan Yun's mother's presence freezes Yun and stops the fight. Yun's mother uses her walking stick to remind her son that disobedience has consequences. Yun protests that he is not fighting but practicing with his new friends. Some antics ensue as Guan Yun convinces his mother that Feng and others are his friends. Yun's mother wants to invite his son's friends in for a meal, but Yun convinces her they are passing by. Feng and Yun secretly plan to continue their fight later at the old abandoned temple, then go their separate ways. The next day, Yun warms up in the abandoned temple. They exchange fists and kicks, and after a few moments Feng surrenders, admitting he cannot win. The whole affair becomes an exhibition. Hefei shows off his swords, and what he can do with them, whatever issues they had. It was water. Under the bridge. Yun has other things to do and promises to meet them tomorrow and fight Yang. In round 2, mid-fight, the delicious smell of grilled chicken distracts Yun. Yang asks for the chicken and offers some to Yun, who vehemently declines, as he is not a sellout. Yang agrees with Guan Yun's sentiment, but He-Fei is touchy about the whole issue. Yang decides he cannot fight a hungry opponent and stops the fight prematurely. On the way back to Yuan's estate, they convince He-Fei to pawn his swords for their next meeting, where they will bring a feast to the temple. At first, Yun refuses to dine with them, but he changes his mind after hearing that He-Fei pawned his swords. He wants nothing to do with Yuan's money. Directly or indirectly, Li Lian spies on his boss's guests and catches them having a good time. We know how he feels about these moochers. Now, he has the evidence. Li reports his findings to Yuan, who is unsurprised. He was expecting the three to befriend Guan Yun. Li is excited that his boss will eliminate the freeloaders, but Yuan is not done with them yet. Yuan gives Li Lian a staff. It looks identical to Yang's. He has explicit instructions. Replace Yang's staff with this one. Ensure you do not get caught. If you're caught swapping, I will kill you myself. Whatever Yuan's plans are, you know they will only benefit one person, Yuan. For round 3, Yun was waiting for them with a spread. He tells He-Fei that he is not the only person in town who can pawn his possessions. As they eat, He-Fei asks Yun why he hangs on to his security business when it is not profitable. Guan is very sensitive about his family business and lashes out. Yang de-escalates by telling Yun that they all abandoned their family businesses. Yang confesses that letting go was a painful experience, but just like He-Fei, Zheng Chao, and Feng Jiaji, he had no choice. After a moment of vulnerability and bonding, Yun asks his new friend not to hold back on their upcoming fight. Yang confesses that some of his moves are extremely dangerous and can be fatal. Guan believes that his body is the only weapon he needs. He absolves Yang by confirming that the only reason for his loss would be his weak kung fu. Feng, He-Fei and Zheng move their makeshift dining table, and Yang and Guan Yun's fight begins. Yang pulls a move that ends with one end of the staff on Yun's solar plexus. Before you know it, the staff explodes and a piece penetrates Guan Yun's midsection. Everyone is shocked. None more so than Yang. The others accuse Yang of cheating by using explosives, but he is too shocked to deny the allegations. He rushes to Yun's aid, but Guan Yun pushes him away and attacks, only to die from his injuries. Feng Jiaji, He-Fei and Zheng Chao attacked Yang. He is unable to reason with his friends and runs away. The trio brings Yun's body back to his family. A grief-stricken Guan San cries over her brother's body. She curses her brother's 3 friends, calls them backstabbing assassins who work for Yuan, and vows never to sell their family business. He-Fei swears to San that they considered Yun a good man and a good friend. At this point, the 3 believe Yang fooled and betrayed them. They must be thinking the conniving Yuan Yingfei paid Yang to do his bidding. Feng, He-Fei and Zheng pay their respects to their fallen friend and brother in Kung Fu. He-Fei leaves the rest of the money he received from his last pawn, and they walk away. An upset San, in a fit of rage, slaps the coins from the table. She goes to her mother, and they console each other. Guan's mother promises her daughter to take her away from this horrible place. After all, there is nothing left for them. At Yuan's estate, Li and Yuan have received word of Yun's passing. Yuan explains that the staff he had Li swap with Yang's was made special, stuffed with explosives. Hit one end of the staff hard enough and the other end explodes. With Yun gone, Yuan's next phase of his plan is to kill his guests and then go to the remaining members of the Guan family, Yun's mother and sister, to inform them that he has avenged Yun's death. He believes that Guan Yun's mother and sister will see Yuan as their savior, and they will live happily ever after together in his lavish home. Feng Jiaji, He-Fei and Zheng Chao have been looking for Yang, Tired and frustrated, they return to the temple, where they meet Yuan and his bodyguards. Yuan's guards surround the three friends. When Feng questions Yuan's actions, he simply replies that he plans on avenging Guan Yun's death. The trio realizes that they have been pawns in Yuan's game. They put up a stiff fight. Zheng kept up with Yuan until he took to the golden sword. Zheng did not have a chance. Yuan's kung fu is too strong. Feng puts down one of Yuan's elite bodyguards and then rushes Yuan. He suffers the same fate as his friend Zheng Chao. He Fei takes out the last of Yuan's elite bodyguards. He Fei turns his attention to Yuan, but knows his kung fu is not strong enough to win, so he takes off. Yuan smells victory and pursues it. He Fei is a crafty one. He circles back via the roof. He wants to check on his friends to confirm they are truly gone. He Fei picks up his scabbard and goes in search of Yang. He finds Yang, sitting at the entrance of Guan's place of business. He's in a worse state than before. He asks where the rest of Guan's family are. Yang barely manages to point inside. He Fei goes in and finds two bodies. Guan's mother and sister had chosen to remove themselves from this plane of existence. An enraged He Fei attacks Yang, yelling at Yang, "You would do anything for money, even ending women and children." Yang explains they were already dead when he got here. He asks if He Fei is willing to help him discover the truth. Yang promises to let He Fei strike him down if he is guilty. He Fei sees the sincerity on Yang's face and agrees to the truce. Moments later, an excited Li Lian strolls in, calling for Guan Yun's sister, San, and her mother. He proclaims that Yuan has avenged Yun's death, and they need no longer be afraid. Like He Fei, he encounters San's and her mother's lifeless bodies. A gust of wind scares him. He scampers. Before he could make a hurried exit, what appeared to be two spectres approached him aggressively. From Li Lian's perspective, he is about to be haunted by the ghosts of Guan Yun's mother and sister. The sheet-covered assailants torment Li with a rope. A frightened Li begs for mercy. He confesses that it was Yuan's idea to swap young Jue Feng's staff with one filled with explosives, the same staff that was used to kill Guan Yun. Yang and He Fei reveal themselves to Li Lian. The jig is up. Li tries to fight back and flee. He is no match for the duo. Li's end is swift. The two find another abandoned temple, a place to hide and strategize. They agree that Yuan will not think to look for them here. There was someone else who knew the two would hide in that temple, the manager of one of Yuan's restaurants. The old man used to work for Yuan's father and watched Yuan become a monster. He is finally tired of it and wants to help end the senseless killing. The manager gives Yang and He Fei a brief bio of Yuan's life, how his father pampered and spoiled him, how he was a kung fu prodigy, and how he used his vast resources to trap and kill unsuspecting, desperate, out-of-work young men who knew kung fu for his enjoyment. Next, he lists the names of Yuan's favorite moves. He hopes understanding Yuan's past will help them find a path to victory against a psychotic serial killer. He Fei and Yang contemplate the new information. It gives them very little in terms of building a defense strategy. Yang asks He Fei if he remembers Yuan's moves during their fight. He Fei deliberates, and they decipher some of Yuan's favorite fatal moves. Together they practice and figure out how to counteract 2 of the 7 moves. Their strategy is to quickly get rid of his bodyguards and combine forces against the madman. They figure that they must stay on Yuan, keep him constantly off balance. That way, he will have little chance to properly execute his special fatal moves. Come sunrise, young Jue Feng and He Fei are in Yuan's courtyard. Yuan is unsurprised and informs them that he has been waiting for their arrival. He assumes they are aware of his plans and have come to avenge the death of their friends. Yuan is glad they came to him. While they seek vengeance, he sees it as another opportunity to practice kung fu. He admits that his 2 opponents are the most talented he ever met. Yang and He Fei are prepared for the coming showdown and stick to their plan. When Yuan attacks, He-Fei sidesteps and then rushes to engage the bodyguards. He expeditiously dispenses with them. The two friends gang up on the former kung fu prodigy and current serial killer. They take turns fighting Yuan, ensuring he has no time to regroup. Unfortunately, Yuan draws first blood on He-Fei by way of a nick on his shoulder. Yang fears for his friend and jumps in, giving He-Fei time to rest. He-Fei notices that Yuan is preparing for one of his deadly moves. The sun's reflection on the golden blade blinds Yang. While distracted, Yuan strikes and cuts Yang. He-Fei notices Yuan changing to another move and somersaults to intercept. The two friends attack in unison, their moves complementing each other. Yuan switches gears and attempts a new move. The duo is prepared to counteract it. They stop for a breather. Yuan inquires as to how they know so much about his moves. Before they can answer, Yuan's big ego takes over and he announces his next move. He-Fei and Yang neutralize that move as well. Yuan is still strong. He-Fei miscalculates on one of his flips and is caught with Yuan's blade on the ribs. Yang also fared poorly. He received a big hit to his back. The two hits embolden Yuan, who reaches into his bag of tricks and pulls out another special move. The move cuts Yang's staff. Pressed against the wall and with nowhere to go, Yang pulls a Hail Mary of a move and chucks his broken staff as he sidesteps Yuan's attacks. It worked! The jagged end of the broken staff goes right through Yuan's midsection. Yuan is frustrated and attempts another one of his moves. He-Fei rushes to block it, but his timing is off. And he pays for it dearly. His sacrifice gives Yang the window to deliver a finishing blow that puts Yuan down for good. Thank goodness. Their plan worked. Mission accomplished. But at what cost? Picture He-Fei declaring that it is over while Yang comes to his aid and carries him.